Folks, welcome back to True Journalism, not activism. It's news you can act on. And I'm here with none other than world-renowned speaker, former world anchor, and the founder and chairman of the largest grassroots organization in America, as well as a New York Times bestselling author and the host of her own show, The Brigitte Gabrielle Show. How are you, Brigitte?
Hello, my friend. So delighted to do this with you.
I'm delighted to do this with you, Brigitte. A lot of people are excited to see you. You know, they get to experience not only the daily news, the first of its kind news you can act on, but also they're going to see this on platforms that haven't had well, I would call a true news factor. But Brigitte, you're right there in the thick of it with Act for America. You know what's happening right there, boots on the ground. And folks, when you saw the intro, you saw it's news you can act on from where you are. And you can definitely do that. You're going to find that out pretty soon. But in the meantime, Brigitte, there's some dangerous things, policies being proposed by non-elected officials and elected officials. And I know that you can catch us up to date in regards to Iran.
Oh my goodness, there are so many things to talk about, but I just want to comment on what you said about news you can act on. Yes. What's so wonderful about what we are doing is not only we are giving people the news because they can get their news from anywhere else. There are 180 channels of different news, that they can get. Right. But a lot of people are not lacking information. They are lacking what to do with the information. Right. Everybody knows we have a problem in the country. So what we want to do with this show is not only give you the information, give people the information about what's happening, the news of the day, but also how you can make a difference. And that's what we are all about, making a difference at the end of the day. Because if you watch a news channel and you get educated or get frustrated, and both, because nowadays you cannot watch the news and get educated without getting frustrated, the more you know about the problem, the more frustrated you become because you realize this is massive. How can I tackle this? What can I do? So what we're going to do is we're going to give people things they can do, simple things they can do. Everybody can do it. And so we are hoping to not only educate with this show, but also empower you and make your voice heard on any issue we discuss. As an American, to be able to impact policy and pressure elected officials to do the right thing. Remember, we elected them to do the right thing. We pay their salaries. Every single elected official we have, whether on the local level or the national level. We pay their salary from our hard-earned income, from our sweat, from our hard work. Those of us who work one job, two jobs. I know people who work 3 jobs a day to provide for their family. So if we're going to work that hard and we are going to pay taxes to our government, we want to make sure if our taxes are going to pay the salaries of Mayor Lightfoot in Chicago or any of these Beto O'Rourke, or any of these people sitting around in Capitol Hill and across the country, we want to make sure every single one of them is held accountable to us as citizens and to the nation they swore to serve. And that's what we want to do with this show. So I'm so excited, Brent. I'm so excited. This is going to be so good. So I'm going to start talking with you about Iran. Yes, what's the news of the day? Oh my gosh, are we concerned about this Iran deal? First of all, Biden, after withdrawing from the Middle East, because remember, we did not want to be the power, we were disengaging from the Middle East, all of a sudden decided, after seeing Russia and China being engaged in the Middle East, all of a sudden decided, okay, I want to go visit Israel, I want to go visit Saudi Arabia, part groveling at the feet of the Saudis, begging them to produce more oil, which of course they told him, look, we can't produce more oil. We can only produce up to 13 million gallons a day. They are now at 11 million. So before he even went there, he should have known that they cannot produce more than 13 million gallons, but he didn't. Whoever he's advising him has failed in advising our president. Our president looked like fools, a fool sitting listening to the crown prince telling him, look, we are at capacity. We may be able to produce 1 extra million a day, million gallon, but that's about it. But our president went to Israel. And then, of course, while he's in Israel, he breaks the news to the Israelis. He makes a comment about, well, I'm waiting to hear from the Iranians. If they don't accept this deal, that's it. I'm not going to them again. And all of a sudden we are thinking, what deal?
Right.
He didn't tell Congress about any deal.
Right.
He didn't bring any deal in front of the American public. All of us sat there thinking, what deal is he talking about?
Right.
And we learned that he actually took a deal to the Iranians, to the theocracy that is committed to killing Americans,
yes,
telling them that he wants to give them $1 billion immediately. And then he is going to give them $1 trillion by 2030 if they abide by the deal and not produce uranium. And on top of that, he offered Russia to buy the uranium so that Russia's going to get the uraniums from Iran before it is enriched to weapons grade. And if we renege on our deal in the future, in other words, if another administration come to power 10 years from now, somebody like President Trump or some conservative who decides this is lunacy. We cannot have such a deal with the Iranians who are building an atomic bomb, who
right,
are committed to killing Americans and Israelis. We cannot allow them to do that. Then if we do that, Russia can give all the uranium back to Iran.
right.
It is mind-boggling that our country and our president would take such a deal to Iran. We have now the Stop Iran Deal petition on our website. If you go to actforamerica.org, actforamerica.org, and you click on Take Action on our Act Now Center, right, you'll see Act Now National. You can click on that. We have a petition to our government and all our elected officials on the state and the federal level to stop this Iran deal. We need you to go there. We need you to sign the petition, send the email, post it on your Facebook. We make it so easy for you. You don't even have to think about it. We have the email pre-written for you. We even have a script for you if you decide to call them, and we give you their phone number as well. And if you decide to call them, and we have a script for you so you'll know what to say to them. So please make sure you go to actforamerica.org, take action, and share it with all your friends.
Fantastic, Brigitte. And again, I want to double that, is that news you can act on. You can actually take action, practical steps. Act for America, that's why that was created, Brigitte, by you over 20 years ago. And as you said before, that one phone call to an elected official in their minds can be representative of over 1,000 people. From your pajamas, as you like to say.
Exactly.
You can make a difference where you are. This is a culture of fear. And of course, you see these backroom deals, these illegal deals, these treasonous deals. And people ask the same question, how can they be so ignorant? Well, they're not ignorant. They're bought off by our enemies, just like the mainstream media is, folks. Both sides go to lunch together and drink together and laugh at the American people. And the American people feel no trust in the mainstream media or this government for good reason.
That's right.
MSNBC poll said 8% of Americans trusted the mainstream media, which means zero, right? Or if there was such a thing as less than zero, go to the link on the bottom of your screen, sign up for the Act for America alerts. You can get those alerts on your phone, through your email, and you can take action.
If I may comment on one thing that you mentioned, Brent, on how important your voice is. And I want to elaborate on that because you're so familiar with it because you and I talk all the time. A lot of people say, what is my voice going to count, Brigitte? My congressman or senator need to hear from 40 to 50,000 people before they take action. Wrong. They tally every phone call and every letter and every email. They have a dedicated staff to literally monitor the emails and the letters and the topics they are getting. And they believe if they hear from 40 to 50 people about one specific topic, whatever it is, 40 to 50 people, that means it's representing thousands of people.
Right.
And here is the science behind the number. They believe if one person makes a phone call or writes a letter or sends an email, he or she are representing 1,000 couch potatoes who feel the same way, but they are too lazy to get off the couch and make a phone call or write an email, yet they vote on election day. That translates to 40 to 50,000 voters on election day. Now, I'm sure there are more than 40 to 50 people watching us right now. Please make it a point to take action. Your voice represents 1,000. If you forward our email to your friends, every friend who takes action represents another 1,000. Do you see the domino effect? This is how we impact change. This is a government for we the people, by we the people, and we need to hold our elected officials responsible. So please go to actforamerica.org and take action today.
You know, this still is the land of the free, the home of the brave, Brigitte. There's still a constitution in place. They may try to chip away at that. The same people try to chip away at your constitutional rights.
Exactly.
And they want you to think that you don't have them when you still have them, and use them. Utilize what you have while you have it. You know, you could travel with me across the world, folks. They don't have the same freedoms we have. They don't have the constitution that we have. But, you know, it really is true that you've got to act for America. And you've said before, Brigitte, you know, don't pray for America. Don't hope for America. Don't dream for America. Take action now. And you still have the rights to do that. You know, Brigitte, we see
and one more thing, and actually they should pray for America, wish for America, hope for America, think about America. You should
dream
do
for
that.
America.
But we named the organization Act for America because after you prayed and you hoped and you wished, without taking action, nothing happens. Act for America. And Brent, for years, people like us, good people sat on the sideline thinking, you know what? I believe in America. I believe in the American people. I believe in our elected officials. You know, people believed in the decency of our elected officials to put America's interest first, to put the Americans first, because we thought, of course, all Americans are patriotic. All Americans would never betray the country to line their pockets. Well, if the Biden family taught us one thing, they sold our country. When you look at the Democratic Party, half of them should be charged with treason for selling our country and our interests. These elected officials on Capitol Hill are lining their pockets at our expense. So finally, what President Trump did, President Trump shined a light and he put a microscope over the swamp so we can really see and understand how deep and wide the swamp is and how bad and corrupt they are. So America is waking up and people are saying enough is enough. Not under my watch, not while I'm breathing. We're going to take our country back. America is worth saving. At least we are not freezing in Valley Forge like George Washington and his troops. All we have to do is sit at the comfort of our home in our pajamas, like you hear me always say, 7 o'clock in the morning while you're sipping your cup of coffee. Take action, sign up for our emails. We empower you. We can make a difference for our country.
You know, Brigitte, I'm excited about this again because, the people that I tell this about, referring to Act for America, the fact that you really can do something. A lot of them have thrown up their hands. They've lost hope. They say, hey, they're going to do what they're going to do. The elections are going to happen the way they're going to happen. But folks, there really is a system that the enemies of our country have infiltrated to use against us. And they've stated that openly. That's very clear. If you read the Communist Manifesto, you've seen it activated every time the left comes in office, and rhinos as well. If you read the Muslim Brotherhood's The Project, the same kind of thing. We will bring down their miserable house from the inside. But I'm having hope for the first time in a while. I've always had hope for Americans and for patriots, but I'm having hope that within the process that has been used against us by those who create laws that they refuse to obey themselves, I have hope that within our system, written by our forefathers, that we can take action for America, and it can be as
influence
simple as picking up the phone.
Yes, and influence them. And here's what I mean by that. In Congress, we have those who are on the right and we have those who are on the left, the elected officials, and we know who they are. You've got, Ted Cruz, you're not going to change his mind. He is he's a constitutionalist. He's a conservative. You've got Matt Gaetz. I can go down the list. We know who they are on the right, and we know who they are on the left. The Nancy Pelosi, the Dick Durbin, the Schumer. We know who they are. But the majority of members of Congress are those in the middle, those whom I call sincerely undecided. And what I mean by that is They lick their finger, they stick it up in the air, and they see how the wind is blowing. So what we have done with Act for America is create the biggest windmill machine and direct it towards the people we want to influence. And that's where your phone calls are so important. And one more point about that, Brent.
Yes.
People tell me, I call my elected officials. So I called, I'm just going to give Senator Cruz as an example. So I called Senator Cruz about this issue and I expressed my opinions. Well, did you call the senator on the other side? Did you call the Democrats?
Right.
And you'll be shocked to know that people on our side never even bother calling Democrats.
True. That's true.
Because they think, why should I bother? They're not going to listen to me. But here's why you should bother. Because while you may not influence the Nancy Pelosi, the Dick Durbin, and the Schumer, you can influence all the newbies, all the mediocre, all the not well-known Congress people on the left or senators who need a cover. So if they get 10,000 emails and phone calls from their constituents, they can go to Pelosi and say, look, I can't vote with you on this issue. I'm going to lose my seat. You want me to lose 6 months from now in the midterms? I will lose my seat if I vote with you. Therefore, I need to abstain or I need to vote no. So that's why your phone calls to these Democratic elected officials are as important as they are to the right. And here's another thing you need to think about and consider. Remember, while you may call Ted Cruz or one elected official on the right one time, 1 week and think, oh, okay, I did my duty. I called my member of Congress. You need to call the left every single week, not one time. Every single week. The reason why we laugh at our rhinos in Congress, the Republicans who don't have a spine or who are resigning, because they are bombarded all the time with calls from the left. The left doesn't hear from us, and all they hear is accolades from their base. So they're living, the high life in Congress.
Right.
Nothing is bothering them. They're having a great time. Nobody's pushing against them. The right is not calling them. The people who love what they're doing, the radicals, love them even more.
Right.
And meanwhile, our guys, the reason why they don't have a spine is because their spine is broken from all the hits they are getting from the left. Make those phone calls.
Brigitte, you have brought out the fact that conservatives love conferences, and that's great. But sometimes the enemy of the best is the good. It's good to have conferences, but the best thing is to be active and to be activists. Some of you may think, well, I'm working a job or I'm working 2 jobs. How can I be an activist? Folks, we are recruiting you right now. If you are a patriot, if you love America, we need you and want you and invite you to be an operative. And you have the power of this phone. You have your laptop here. I'm looking at the Act for America website. What a fantastic website. And of course, the nation's premier grassroots movement dedicated to preserving America's culture, security, and freedom. 21 million actions taken, 138 bills passed, 399,000 activists and counting. That's even more than that.
Brent, we call it electronic-driven activism. Electronic-driven activism. You don't even need to leave your house. You can make your voice heard sitting at your home. We make it so easy for you. We research the bills that are coming down for a vote on the state level and the federal level. We let you know about them before they are voted on. We give you the name of the elected official who sponsored the bill, who co-sponsored it, the people that you need to call or email. We write the email for you. With the click of a button, you can send them the email. We write the petition for you. We even make the post for you for your Facebook, for your social media, Getter, Gap. I don't care what social media you are on, Twitter. We literally prepare the post. All you have to do is one click, share it on your social media, which also tags your elected officials. So we call it electronic-driven activism. So even if you have 3 jobs, I'm sure you take a bathroom break during your job, you could literally sit on the toilet. Done. Electronic-driven activism. Nobody has an excuse not to be active. And if you don't want to be active, at least support us financially. Please, please, we need your help. Everybody can participate and everybody can make a difference. And by the way, the 21 million actions taken that you mentioned, that's only this year. That's only in the first 6 months of this year.
Gosh.
Yes, we are hoping to reach 100 million by the end of the year.
Fantastic. You know what? I'm inspired. I'm encouraged, Brigitte. Folks, you should be too. There is something you can do. From the small town coffee shop, diner, greasy spoon to the high rise boardroom, folks. They talk. We got to do something, but we don't know what to do. The left doesn't mind breaking the law that they pass. They don't mind burning down cities and calling it protest. They don't mind field trip operative government led in scenarios of unarmed citizens and calling that an insurrection. That's all about Trump not being reelected, by the way, if you look into that. But, they don't care about that because they don't care about this country because they are committed to its destruction. But, if you look throughout history, it's always the same story. The left wants to overspend and crash a system. Then they want to blame capitalism. Then they want to bring in socialism. Then they want to declare a dictator. Then they want to disarm the dissenters. Then they want to kill the dissenters. And then they want to enslave and starve citizens and make them their communist pawns. There is no utopia, folks. Just read your history, do your research, read a book. But if you're going to read anything today, you need to go to actforamerica.org and you need to read the resources that you have available to you. The work's almost done for you. But Brigitte, you know what? I'm just so happy that you're doing what you're doing for our country. And I'll never forget the Western Conservative Summit. I was talking to them and I told them, I said, you got to have Brigitte Gabrielle. And of all the people that spoke, Brigitte, and I know you didn't ask me to do this, but we had the biggest names, but we had Brigitte Gabrielle. Of all those speakers, only one got multiple standing ovations over and over again. And that was you, Brigitte, because of your passion and your sincerity, willing to risk your life for this country and for you patriots. You know what, folks? There's something you can do. And here it is.
Yes, exactly. And it's like you said, going to conferences is wonderful. Look, it's important to have conferences. It's fun to have conferences. But as long as you understand that conferences are great events, they're like a political concert. That's what I call it. It's entertainment. You hear great speakers. You get to meet great speakers. You get to take your picture with great speakers. You get an autographed book from a speaker like myself or Don Jr. or Ginny Piro or all of us who speak at conferences. But as long as you understand that after going to conference for 3 days and you are excited and you are on a high and people come back home and they go, oh my God, this has been fantastic.
Right.
A week later, people have no idea what to do. So you need to understand that while you got entertained and it is wonderful, that's not activism. That's entertainment. Activism and entertainment are very, very different. It's important to go show up to a support group where a bunch of conservatives get together. They hear great speakers. They listen to great music. Most conferences end with a gala, which is wonderful. We eat good food. But at the end, you need to understand that unless you take action, nothing changes. And that's where we need you engaged. And that's where we need you involved. With Act for America, we made everything easy for you. We have chapters nationwide. If you do not have a chapter near you, start a chapter. We need people to start chapters nationwide. Start a chapter. Get together with 5 of your friends. That's how easy it is. I'm sure you've got 4 other people other than yourself who agree with you, who are concerned for the country. You can start the chapter around your breakfast nook. Tell everybody, bring pizza, come over for coffee, whatever time of day you decide to do it, whether you are a full-time mother, whether you are somebody who works, full-time and comes home in the evening and you want to do something 7 o'clock in the evening once a month. Do it. We will teach you. We will train you. We will mentor you. Go to actforamerica.org. Click on Get Involved. And you'll see under the tab all the amazing ways you can become involved at whatever level you want, wherever you are in life, no matter what your job, what your title, where you are. We meet you where you are to help you become a voice affecting our nation and now basically saving our nation, preserving our freedom. Our nation is standing on a cliff. We need to save her and we need your help.
That's right. You know what? She's worth fighting for, and our country. And you can do that, folks, with the touch of a button, with a click, with your phone. The money that you spend on junk food in one drive-through sitting for you and your spouse, you could be making a difference in our country. Most people can't account for the money they spend. Most people, because of a fear or lack of hope, delve into escapism, and they can't even account for the hard and earned money they have. You know what, folks? Begin to make an investment in your country and in your children and your children's children, and get involved with Act for America. We're making history, Brigitte. News you can actually act on, the return of true journalism, who, what, when, where, why, and the how. And
That's
you know
right.
what? We're not only doing that, but folks, where else are you going to get your news, and where else are you actually going to get some inspiration? You know, Brigitte, there's another website that I'm very excited about, and that's BrigitteGabrielle.com. You know, there's an incredible motivational, inspirational side to you. I remember an interview that we did with CBS. The news anchor said, man, I really want to know more about her and what she thinks about certain things as a woman. Well, Brigitte, it's no secret. The cat's out of the bag, that you are driven. You're on a mission to raise up this next generation of women leaders. Stay tuned for opportunities like that, folks, especially if you have young people like this newest generation. It's very, very vocal. If you noticed, they're calling themselves the pro-life generation for a reason. But Brigitte, you're raising up a new generation of women leaders, and everybody that I know, they love Brigitte Gabrielle, including Jennifer from Garland, Texas. Jennifer wants to know, I've read your book, Why They Hate. I'm inspired by your passion. What would you say to a woman in today's culture? Obviously, there's an attack on women. They don't even want to call them women anymore. They want to call them birthing people. They're women, folks. You know, oh my gosh. I mean,
let me get started
what would you say? What would you say to Jennifer?
And that's right.
Now?
As a mother of 2 children who give birth twice, I don't want to hear about birthing people. Okay, women give birth. That's it. So exclamation point. Period. Subject is over. Women give birth, and that's it. And that's how God made it. We're trying to change nature right now. I mean, it's mind-boggling what's happening in the country. But that's exactly why I want to empower women, motivating a new generation of women leaders, conservative women leaders, to stand up and be counted. Look, a woman is the center of the family. Yes. Women are the social coordinators of the family.
That's
if
right.
You're married, if anybody married right now watching me, you know exactly what I mean. The wife coordinates who we're going to get together with, honey. This weekend we're invited to dinner at James's house. We're going to go with Carol to church or whatever. Women organize the family. They are the social coordinators. They are better at communicating messages, simply because that's how, in general, women are good verbally, while men are good technically. So women know how to socialize better, know how to make friends better. They just socialize in a different way than men do. And that makes them very effective networkers. And so this is why it's important for women to understand their worth, their value, and what they can contribute to preserving America. I have to tell you, some of our most chapter leaders are all women. It's amazing. But because they are the networkers, they are the ones who have no problem talking to anybody at any time, starting a conversation out of the blue, and just, socializing. So the motivational side of me to women is go after pursue your passion, go after what God put on your heart, whatever it is, whatever you feel so energized about, follow what energizes you, because if you follow that, you're going to excel at whatever you do. People tell me, Brigitte, you're so happy all the time. You're so energized all the time, because I am pursuing my passion. I love people and I love America. And look what I am doing. I'm doing something that saves America while I get to meet amazing people all over the country. And I get to wake up in the morning so excited, feeling so blessed, so happy that I get to live another day in the greatest nation on the face of the planet, the United States of America. And I get to serve my country doing something I love, and even make a living while I'm doing it. So, that's why I'm excited about my new show, the Brigitte Gabrielle Show, which is airing on GLC and many other stations and platforms. For that part of me, that side of me, you can go to BrigitteGabrielle.com and you can watch the show. And Brent, I'm so excited to be working with you on these projects.
You as well.
It's fun. It's great.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brigitte, I'm glad you love America, because America loves you. Folks, we appreciate you watching. Another great news you can use, news you can do something about, news you can act on. Thank you again, Brigitte. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening.